Okay, so let's start part 2 of the Reconstitution of non-injectables. So I got my bottled water, and my bottled water is 12 fluid ounces. So I'm going to start with that. However, I know, you see it's filled up here. If I go to put anything in there, it's going to overflow. So I got to subtract off 12 fluid ounce minus however many ounces I want to dump out. I'm going to dump out 2. I'm going to give myself enough room, so I'm going to have 10 fluid ounce to work with. Okay? So now, it says for every 2 tablespoons, we're going to use 12 fluid ounces, but we don't have 12 fluid ounces now. We have 10 fluid ounces, correct? So now we need to figure out how many tablespoons I need to put in there. So we're going to do things just a little bit different. You may have another way of solving for it. But if I'm going to start with, I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take that 2, I know that, well wait, let's do this right quick. Okay, and then I'm going to multiply that by the 10 fluid. I would reduce it, I started to do that, that's why I said I wanted to do it this way. But let's just leave it as is. We could use, now if you use your calculator, it has to be approved by the instructor, and it only can have add, subtract, multiply, divide, and the square root. That's the only thing you're allowed on your calculator, or it's not approved for this course. So I'm going to say 2 divides 12, which we know is a half, or not a half, it's 1/6, times that 10. And it gives me, and I'm going to round to the nearest tenths because of what I'm working with. It's going to give me approximately 1.7 tablespoons of this lemonade. So I'm fixing to do that. But before I do that, I check all my materials that I have to work with. I have my measuring cup. I have a 30 milliliter 1 ounce measuring cup. So I know I'm going to dump 2 out of these. I got my funnel that I'm going to use to pour what I need in there. But my supply is measured in teaspoons, not table. And I got a 1/4. So now I need to convert this from tablespoons to teaspoons, right? And I only got a 1/4 to work with. So before I start doing that, let's get this one figured out. We know for every 1 tablespoon, anybody want to tell me how many teaspoons that is?
3.
3 is correct. Very good. 3 teaspoons. All right, so now let's solve for this. I'm going to take my 1.7 tablespoons, divide it by the part that we know that's going to reduce the unit. So it's going to be 1 tablespoon. Then multiply it by the part we know that we want. And again, you can take your calculator. 1.7 times that 3 gives me 5.1 teaspoons. So a 1/4 is 4 1 teaspoon. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I'm going to divide this by 4, so I know exactly how many I want to. So it says approximately, it says 1.275. So here's the part that the notation, this is a 1/4 teaspoon, so gotta be careful on notation. So here's the part I am letting you have control over. I'm letting you decide how to round. You can round up, you can leave it as is, whatever you want to do. But remember, what you're working with is not going to give you an exact measurement. And the reason why I want you to do your own rounding, do your own rules, is because when we drink it, we're going to notice a difference one way or another, right? Good or bad. So I am choosing to round, because it's a 1/4, I'm not going to get. I'm just going to go ahead and say 1.25, so I'm going to say 1 scoop and a partial. Well, that's going to be really hard to do, right? So I'm going to just drop it and say 1, my apologies, guys. No one called me on it. I don't divide it because it's not bigger, I multiply. I was thinking, if I'm going to give 5 whole teaspoons and then I'm going to turn around and only give 1 of a 1/4, that didn't make sense. That threw me off. So, if you do that, that's okay. I'm going to say 4 1/4 teaspoons. Right? I'm going to multiply it by that. Because for every 1 teaspoon a quarter of them, there's 4 of them. Make sense?
Yep.
I didn't think that one through. Alright, so let's remultiply. So I got 4 and I got 20. So it's saying 20.4 teaspoons of the quarters I need. I'm not gonna do the 0.4, I'm just gonna do 20. So let's dump out 2 fluid ounces. Okay. And so when you do your funnel, and make sure you do it over a napkin or over a bowl. You want to do it somewhere that you're not going to make a huge mess because it's really hard to clean up. Make sure your funnel don't go all the way in your bottle because once you start dumping in, the water rises. When the water rises, it gets in the funnel and then it clogs it up. And it's going to take more time. So I'm going to hold it just right. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 19, 20. Alright. Don't lose your read. So here's the test. So we're going to determine if I should have rounded up, should have rounded down, which I know 0.4 is not 5 or bigger. So, but I could have tried to do like a quarter of a, I could have done one more scoop. Let's make sure it's shook up good. Alright. What water?
It's me.
Okay, I